What if I told you you could pay $50 to park here, or you could park here for free? Hey everyone, my name is Mandy and today we're sharing 5 tips we locals use to get the best and cheapest, and sometimes even free, parking on Clearwater Beach. While parking isn't the most exciting part of any beach day, it can turn into the most aggravating and expensive pretty quickly if you don't know what you're doing. So what can you do to avoid circling endlessly in traffic looking for a spot that won't break the bank? Find out now with tip number 1. Look for city parking. All city lots are $3 an hour and city street parking is $3.50 an hour with a 5-hour limit. Depending on how long you plan on staying, we've found both options to almost always be cheaper than using any of the private lots. City lots can be located using the handy map found at www.myclearwater.com/parking or via the amazing new nationwide parking app with real-time parking prices and real-time availability, which we'll be telling you about later in this video. With all city parking, you can pay for parking right from your cell phone using the Park mobile app and can extend your parking session without having to walk back to your vehicle. The app even sends notifications and text reminders when your parking is about to expire and is available for download on the App Store for iPhone and the Google Play Store for Android devices. If downloading an app isn't your thing, you can also pay at one of the kiosks located in the parking lots. Just remember to keep track of your time, and if you plan on staying longer than expected, you'll have to walk back to your car to extend your stay. The parking enforcement does not mess around here, and you will get a ticket if your time is expired. We know from experience. Because of the affordability and convenience of city lots, they're typically the first to fill up. Which brings us to tip number 2. Get here early. Now, everyone knows the early bird gets the worm, but how early is the question. Lots like the one by Pier 60 and Opal Sands fill up first, most times by 9 a.m. or even earlier on the weekends and peak times of the year. Traffic starts backing up over the bridge to get to the island around the same time, so if you can manage to get up early, it's totally worth it. Moving on to tip number 3, avoid the private lots. Not all of them are bad, but they tend to price gouge on weekends and super busy times like holiday breaks. If you've been to Clearwater Beach before, you probably recognize the North Beach parking plaza here. It used to be owned by the city and was just $3 an hour to park, but as of May 2022, the plaza is privately owned and the new owners control the rates. A note of caution if you're thinking of parking here. This one is especially sneaky as their rates fluctuate by the day and sometimes even by the hour. And the only place that it's posted is this tiny little screen that you can't see until you drive right up to it. Just be careful here. You don't want to get stuck paying too much because you can't back out of line. We've seen it happen. Other private lots on the beach range from $20 a day during the off season to upwards of $60 a day, depending on the time of year. This is why we like to stick with the city lots. Tip number 4, free parking. The street parking across from the Clearwater Recreation Center on North Beach is free between 6 a.m. and 11 p.m. 7 days a week. The key is to get there early as there's only a few spaces and they do fill up quickly. More free parking can be found on Baymont Street, adjacent to the North Beach parking plaza that we talked about earlier. While you're allowed to park here and go wherever you like, these spots are intended for patrons of businesses close by. The Original Frenchies, a cute coffee shop, a nail salon, and a Mexican restaurant are all within walking distance of this parking lot. It's important to note that these spots on Baymont Street are only free for 2 hours and they are monitored. Another option for free parking will depend on where you're staying. Although many of the newer hotels do charge their guests daily rates for parking, there's still a few left that don't. Shepherd's offers its guests free valet for 1 vehicle per guest stay. Just make sure to call your hotel ahead of time to find out their parking policy. Those fees do add up. Remember that app we told you about earlier? Well, that brings us to tip number 5. Use Parkopedia. Parkopedia is an amazing free tool that allows drivers to find the closest parking to their destination and tells them how much it will cost and even whether or not space is available. Just visit their website, enter your destination and the date and times you want to park, and the app will show you your best options. This is especially helpful during peak times at the beach, as rates can be all over the place, sometimes with no rhyme or reason. If all this parking talk has your head spinning, make sure to hit the subscribe button now, because you're not going to want to miss our next video all about getting around Clearwater Beach without a car. From the Jolly Trolley to boat rides, we're covering it all. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you then.